Hey everyone, it's Sarah back again, and today, well, I'm recording this a couple hours later, but I dyed up some yarn, and I'm also showing you my progress that I've been making on that one big ol' project I was hyping up before. So, let us start. So I dyed up some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in a worsted weight, and I kind of just decided on rainbow, and I just like all the colors, so I just decided to go with rainbow. And part of me, at some point in the future, I will probably get some of those neon fluorescent dyes. The only ones I have that fluoresce right now are the pink or hot fuchsia, and then the Kelly green, which you'll see me add a bit later onto these two long skeins of yarn. And these two skeins of yarn I made on my Nitty Nutty at the full length that I can do. So it's like around it's 8 feet in circumference, or 4 feet if you actually hold it end to end. You know what I mean. So they're super big and long, and I divided one full skein of Wool of the Andes into two because, well, at the time I wanted to try doing different colors, but realistically I only have so many hours in the day. So what I decided to do was just kind of, make my own rules, and you'll see at the end where I add teal to one of the sides, and then I kind of do like a bluish purple mixture to the other. But while this was baking in the oven, and at the end of this video or so, you'll see the finished product, and they look really cool because at the time I'm recording this audio, they're skeined up and laid on my kitchen table, which I think I'm going to reskein it into its shorter version so that I can kind of see what it does, because I want to see this thing with a little bit more bulk, and it's gonna be awesome. But the actual full reason that I bought a couple skeins of Wool of the Andes was because I had this great idea just before my birthday. I've never seen anybody do this before, but so if you haven't seen, I made a short back last year where I was using one of those spool knitters and the loom knitting hook to basically knit I-cord using the spool knitter, and it's about 5 prongs around. Well, I started trying to spool knit some plain Wool of the Andes in one of the skeins that I purchased, and well, I haven't worked on it because, well, I'm gonna go with the fact that doing it manually, it takes quite a long time to, and I'm like maybe halfway through. I'm not even there yet. A big part of me, like the ADHD, definitely wants me just like to cut it, call it good, and maybe just use the crank spool knitter that I recently purchased to do the rest. But you know what, I think, and I could change my mind at any point, I think I'm gonna try to stick it out and do it manually because I kind of like how it's looking, and I want to see exactly like how many yards I get. The large one I used with the spool crank knitter. Let me go look at that and see what it's actually referred to as. It's the Embellish-Knit. It's the purple one with the little clip that you might see people using, that literally everybody seems to have like a 50-50 whether it works for them or not. I got lucky. It works for me, and it actually works with the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the worsted, because what I found is the difference between the Wool of the Andes worsted and, say, Red Heart's worsted or Aran weight. Red Heart is actually much thicker. The Wool of the Andes works pretty well, and it creates a very, very dense but thin I-cord. And yeah, right now I'm sticking my hand in a soaking of water vinegar that I used earlier today because I don't want to waste it or pour too much. So I think I'm going to dye up this I-cord, which is the whole reason I specifically got this wool and decided to take a chance on this spool knitter, simply to make I-cord out of wool yarn to see how well it dyes up, because I haven't seen anybody do that, so I'm doing it. Oh, and before I forget, I actually did measure out approximately how long that Embellish-Knit I-cord that I finished up is, and now my calculations tell me it's about 13 1/3 yards, but I'm gonna go with 13 yards. So that's pretty cool, actually. You could probably do a lot with that. I don't know about really knit or crochet anything too big, but weaving? No, that'd be pretty fascinating. Or make it, or make a really cool tiny basket. Ooh, all the possibilities. So I'm going to dye it now. Yeah. So the colors for this I-cord yarn, I had some help. I asked my husband, like, oh, what do you think? What color should I use? He's like, yeah, you like a lot of vibrant colors. I'm like, yeah, I know. I kind of like all of them. So he kind of suggested maybe the blues, deep colors, So I picked out the hot fuchsia, the turquoise. I really actually love how the hot fuchsia and turquoise mixes together to make this like amazing violet color that's different from the violet you saw me add as well. And then I used the deep blue, brilliant blue, that's it. And then I added in some of the, oh, what is it? It's the gray, the silver gray. I honestly forget the colors. I had gray. And while I was kind of thinking about a low immersion, I didn't want the yarn to say singe or burn. So I kind of intentionally added more liquid because I wanted to really absorb. However, that does make things muddy it up a little bit. But I'll have the yarn hopefully dry by tomorrow since everything is like super hot. It's probably supposed to rain tonight, but we have a nice back deck that I can put the drying rack out on. And hopefully it doesn't get wet and hopefully it dries and doesn't take too long to dry. So hopefully I'll have the finished yarn pretty well dry by the time you're seeing this. So yeah, thank you all for sticking with me. I know I haven't posted a whole lot in like several weeks. There's just been a lot going on. I haven't felt it, and I guess my perfectionism or whatever you might want to call it has kind of been getting in the way of filming. But really, I think I figured it out. All I need is some sort of like box on the kitchen table and the phone stand, and it was like the best tripod ever. So stick with me, and if you like my content and you would like to consider supporting me, the only thing I have available right now is my Redbubble shop. I've added some new yarn graphic designs. I think they're really cool. I've also added a cute few funny phrases, like I made this sausage jar that says hot and junky, and then I made a cute cat graphic using my cat Kishy as a model, and it says cute and chonky. So yeah, I think that about wraps things up. So I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully you won't have to wait too long. So with that, make something sparkle today. See you in the next one. Bye.